I'm Jackie.
And I'm Ashley. Welcome back to Dumb Witch Club.
I don't know what we're doing right now.
We're doing Dumb Witch Club. That's all we need to know.
Right? Yes. No, thank you.
Yeah.
That is very centering.
That's all we need to know in life, is that we're a part of the Dumb Witch Club. And you are too. And if life gets you down, then you're just in the club, and that's all you need to worry about.
Wow. I feel so much better.
Yeah, good.
It's amazing.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just keep telling yourself, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Oh, okay. Now I do feel better.
Good, I'm glad you feel better.
So, and now, do we still have to do this episode?
Yeah, we do. We have to do it. We're going to do it, and we're going to swim through it, and it's going to be good. I don't know why this swimming, because this is not about water.
No, but I actually have an inkling as to why it could potentially be. It's not about water, but why you're bringing that up. But I don't want to.
You don't want to reveal that
yet? No, not yet.
Well, should we do a card pull, perhaps?
Yes, let's do a card pull.
Look at me remembering what we do.
I know, and you brought the cards again.
Yeah, we're making progress. You want me to draw?
Yes.
Thought you were going to say that. Mm-hmm. So I brought the Passages Oracle deck because I figured, let's make this passage into sort of ushering in the next season a little. No, I guess it doesn't really make it easier. That's not what happens. It just sort of gives you insight.
Yeah, which is better than not.
It's better than not. So I guess in that way, it's a little bit eased.
Yes. Well, can I also just say I love this deck?
Yeah, I know.
I love it.
Anything by Liliana Perez is amazing.
It really is. And I think we've mentioned before, I have the tarot deck of hers. And it is beautiful.
Gorge.
Highly recommend.
I think we got this one in Yucca Valley.
Love. Ooh, yeah. Oh, that reminds me, field trip idea. Anyways, well, let's get to it later.
Okay. Okay. Portals. I've drawn this.
I know. I swear, you'd think that these decks have like 2 cards in them that over and over repeat.
Totally.
We just pull the same freaking cards.
Yeah, I pulled this. And it was at a very similar time, if I'm remembering it correctly. Mm-hmm. And I wish that I knew what episode that was, because that would be amazing if I was just like, it was in this episode. And
but you're not a Virgo, so you don't have the cyclopedic knowledge at your fingertips.
That's true. I wish I did. I wish I had a little of that energy. But perhaps there's a portal into that energy. And it's opening up.
Love.
And we're gonna just like I said, we're gonna step through it. We're gonna swim through it. I don't know where that's coming from, but we are.
Okay,
I like it.
I think it's coming from the Pisces polarity. That's what I think.
Duh. And I have something to say about that, so that's good.
Yes, same.
Should I put it here?
I don't know. I think
might not work.
I don't know. It probably doesn't matter.
That's fine. Yes.
Man,
portals.
I like that, actually. I really like that card.
Portals and passages. That's not. I'm just putting them aside.
Also, I just feel like I want to do this really fast. Like, look it. Like, there's like a bunch of freaking cards in here.
I know. It's like if you don't believe
sadness, secrets, seek, fire. Oh, fear. We've pulled before
a couple of times.
Death.
It was upside down. Just
I know. This duality was upside down too.
We've also pulled that.
Doubt, caution, movement. Anyways, there's a ton of things in here. Just.
They're also cute.
So y'all know. They are cute. Let it go. Oh, I like that. There's a broom.
That's a good one.
Sweep it away. Anyways.
I kind of like what you're demonstrating here, too. Just like, we didn't plan this, but as a side note to this, you can do that. There's no rules.
Totally.
If you want to look at the cards face up and let your intuition guide what you're feeling about certain ones and pull one out and consider what that is and be like, I think this is the one. There's no rule that says that you have to have them face down and that you have to just like blindly pick. That's what we do because that's sort of how we feel drawn to them and stuff. But like, you can absolutely do it that way. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't.
I think that is an amazing point. I'm really glad that you made it. And I think, that's so valid.
Do it.
It's so valid.
Especially when you're feeling a little bit like desperate or just like, I don't know what any of this is, or kind of like what we've been trying to avoid, but if you're feeling like that, then you need to do that.
Okay, and also, these cards are in the same order that they were in when she pulled the card. And I just want to say, the 2 cards that would have been on top are water and vulnerability.
Wow.
Which play into the stuff she was already talking about, and vulnerability plays huge into Virgo. So I'm just saying, there's like meaning in a lot of things where the cards are, besides just the one that you pull out.
Absolutely. And obviously, I think, well, I say obviously, maybe it's not obvious, but like, you don't have to just pull one. You can pull a series of them. You can pull as many as you want. You can do a whole spread. You can, ask different questions, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do. But we do a little short version because, that's what we do on the show.
Yeah, and sometimes we talk a lot and make it longer. Whatever.
Yeah, that's the best part. All right. That was good. I liked that. All right.
Yeah, I'm ready for why, though. Are you ready for why, though?
Yeah, I'm ready. I feel... Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to cut you off, but I was going to say, I really am... I know why, though, but my emotional state is really asking, like, why, though? Because I have felt some of this so hard.
Yeah.
Like, the turn from Leo to Virgo sun. It just hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
And I know I joked about it in the last episode because I'm a Leo and I'm like, oh yeah, my season's going away and like so sad.
Right.
But like legit, it felt like someone just like slammed on the brakes like in my like heart.
Yeah.
And I feel like I want to cry like right now. I'm not going to cry, but
yeah.
Oof. Anyways.
Yeah, it's been rough and like I felt a lot like a dumb witch this week, particularly yesterday and today. Like, hello, you literally did a whole why though, telling everybody else that it was Mercury stationing retrograde. It's also Virgo season. Like, it's going to be, I literally looked back and was like, you wrote down things are going to be emotional, maybe a little frustrating conversations, and like even conversations with yourself are gonna feel like that. And meanwhile, I'm skipping along this week just being like, this sucks and I hate this.
Yeah,
like,
why though?
Really? And I had all that so
I know
I'm ready for this one because I feel like I'm being a little bit more intentional about, okay, what am I saying, and can I please just remember it and internalize it so that when this comes up next week and I have forgotten all about everything, that I don't forget all about everything.
Yes, and I think that is the hardest part and the most important part is to remember the things. So
almost a year into Dumb Witch Love, and there's revelations that hit us every day.
We are staying dumb, if you had a question. We definitely are.
You instruct them to do that. And ourselves. All right. Why, though? Let's do it. Okay. As if we needed more retrograde, we're getting it.
Well, did we actually need more retrograde?
I don't know. Like,
No.
No. I mean, they say that you do, but...
Who are they?
I don't know. I don't know who they are, and I don't know why we listen to them. But anyway, we're getting it. So regardless of what they say, we're getting it.
Okay, so don't reject reality, accept reality. Okay, I'm trying. So
no, it's hard. So it's Uranus. Yeah, is stationing retrograde in Taurus.
This sounds awful.
I know, it does. Okay, but...
This sounds awful
But here's what's not going to be awful about it.
Okay,
because
please.
I'm really... And when I was taking notes, I was really trying to think about this. Here's what's not going to be awful about it. Mm-hmm. It's okay to slow down. We need to slow down. Uranus is typically the planet, whether you're aware of him or not, that is kind of giving you issues because it's the one trying to shake things up and change stuff, and you're like, all right, like, okay already. Nobody likes that. I don't care how Sagittarius you are. You don't like that much change. Nobody does. So in retrograde and in an earth sign, particularly Taurus, I think that's going to feel okay. I think that's going to feel pretty good because these changes are going to happen anyway. There's nothing you can do about that.
But are you saying that perhaps it's not going to be like the drastic, dramatic, like, you know, sort of that fire energy of change?
Exactly.
It's going to be the slow, grounded, down to earth Taurus version of change.
Yes, and with the retrograde, I'm trying to look at this positively.
Well, right.
Right?
Okay, yes.
It's allowing you to process the change, even though that might get a little annoying because it's like re-emphasizing it. Still, that's allowing you, if you didn't want to accept it the first time you sort of heard the news or it came around or you decided on it or whatever, that retrograde period is helping you to be like, okay, let me reconsider this, right? And from a grounded, like you said, you know, perspective, a practical perspective.
Okay.
I think it could be really good for, like, if you're thinking about finances and money and material things, because Taurus is bringing that in.
That's true.
Right? So
and
that
also
could be
sort of that family and relationship aspect.
that self-nurturing.
Yes. Okay. All right. I'm seeing a lot of good here. I'm also thinking, just as a reminder, if you have Uranus in retrograde in your chart, this could be something really fruitful and comfy for you. So just to keep that in mind.
Yeah, maybe it's like a little sort of like nest egg building period before we get into like fall and like harvest and winter and stuff.
Well, I also know Uranus has a long cycle,
Yeah.
and so this is going to be going on for a little bit,
It
so
is.
we may as well get used to it.
Yeah. So see, that's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not that bad at all. But I think the next piece is the best.
The next piece is so good.
It's
I feel like,
so good.
yeah, we're going to love this. This
It's
is gonna
special.
It's so special, and it's going to be so good. It's a lot, kind of, but I feel like if you can get behind the fact that it's a lot, it's going to be good. So, August 30th, we're having our second full moon of the month. So, it's a blue moon because it's the second full moon of the month occurring the same month. This one is a super moon as well.
Yay.
And it is in everyone's favorite and ours, Pisces.
Oh, so glory-filled. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Deep,
it's really nice.
energetic. Not,
Totally.
energetic, but like deep energy work.
Yeah.
Energetic.
Very magical.
Very magical, psychic,
Yes.
clairvoyant,
Yeah.
getting in touch with everyone and everything and yourself. Okay, I'm loving this.
Don't you love that?
I do.
And then, like you said, it's bringing in, because I was talking about swimming and water and whatever, and you're like, that's what you're bringing in. You're bringing in that balance, that polarity.
Yes.
So it's what we need, because when that Virgo energy is sort of bringing you down to earth, bringing you back to school and all that kind of stuff, you have this beautiful Pisces full moon to shed light on everything that you want to see.
Yes, your dreams,
your
and your hopes, and yes.
Maybe
okay.
some things that you don't like so much, but guess what? You have the Virgo energy that you need to transmute and move on and, you know, simplify, look at the details of that, and really move past it. Like, you have both of those things there for you, and that can really work. I want to say I'm particularly drawn with this full moon to the color blue.
Well, it is a blue moon.
It's a blue moon. I feel like we can channel that color. I feel like blue is very much the color of kind of that psychic, healing energy.
I'm thinking like lapis lazuli.
Yes,
like
lapis
that.
lazuli.
Yes.
I love that. Kyanite, I love.
Yes.
Especially if you're doing ancestor work or sort of spirit work. I love that for that, like, you know, psychic communication aspect. So I don't know if you want to pull that in your spell work or, I don't know, just what you're wearing or whatever, but I think that would be cool.
I like that. I really like that suggestion too.
You have that like lovely blue one.
I know. That's why I was just touching it, this necklace. So yeah, that's cool. And I didn't even know you were going to say that. So
that's cool.
Very nice. So that is August 30th, that full moon.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We got one other slightly major thing, right? Small in the sense that, like, we've been talking about this for months and months. Yeah. Venus in Virgo and retrograding in Virgo. Good Lord. Leo, hello.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, okay, I'm ready to move on.
I know, seriously. No, but I'm not. That's the problem.
know.
I feel like Virgo planted that in my head.
Yeah, it was like Virgo, and you're like,
I'm like, no, I don't want to say Virgo. I just say Virgo. I'm like,
Say
oh,
it.
no. Yes. Anyways, Venus in Leo
Yeah.
has been in Leo and retrograding in Leo. So now is getting ready to station back direct, which means she's getting out of that retrograde. The time is wrapping up for Venus being in Leo in general, but I think it's time, like you were talking about retrogrades earlier, anytime there's a retrograde and you're coming out of a retrograde, yes, you've done a lot of maybe repetition and reflection during the retrograde, but once you're going back direct, or the planet's going back direct with that energy, you can also take a pause right there to just be like, what was all that about?
Totally. Reevaluate. Look at your heart. Look, because Leo's all about heart. So look at that and just kind of see, like, what were the things I learned? What were the things that I, like, should have learned? I don't know. That I rejected.
That I need to learn in the next retrograde again.
Because everyone was like, you said it was hot witch summer. Like, you said it was hot human summer. I wasn't thinking about learning anything. I was just being a hoe. Well, that's great, but
You can learn a lot by being a hoe.
you can learn a lot by that. So now perhaps just, like, evaluate how you were being one. I don't know. This is so
You do that.
off the rails. I don't know. That's it. That's all. Hot human summer is over. I'm just kidding. It's not. It's never over. Okay. That's the why, though. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I'm just...
Are you dreading?
Yes.
I know. Your energy is, like, palpable.
So what we're doing today is a new sign Hootist episode.
Yeah, we love these.
We love them usually. This is Virgo edition.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna get it together. This is our last new sign Hootist.
It's our last new sign Hootist. Yes, it's our last one because we came full circle all the way around.
Because we started last year with Libra.
Yeah.
Believe that or not, good heavens.
Good heavens.
Yes, so that being said, we are going to continue this series with a slight variation. So you'll have to wait until next month to be introduced to what that is.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. You're going to be excited for that. Yeah. But that being said, if you didn't realize that this was our last new sign Hootist, and you've missed the others, then you need to go back and watch them because this completes it. So they're all there. If you haven't noticed it, they're there.
Yeah, so... All right, this is Virgo edition.
Yeah, obviously. Jeez, I'm like giving them homework. They're like, yeah, we can tell.
I know, seriously.
Wow.
The Virgo energy is here. It is strong. Okay. Virgo is the sixth sign.
Sixth sign. It's so hard to say.
Of the zodiac. It is mutable.
Yes.
Earth.
Yes.
Night.
I know. Isn't that kind of nice? I feel like that's kind of nice. It's mutable earth. That's kind of different.
What is that? How?
What does that mean? Mudslide? I don't know.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. It's amazing.
Rocks falling off the mountain.
Yeah.
You know how, like, you're driving in the mountain and it's like, caution. You know, I love that. Side note, like, what am I supposed to do? Caution.
Nothing.
How?
Nothing.
If that rock, if God has decided that rock's moment is now, then that's also my moment, because what am I going to do?
That is Virgo energy. Okay?
The caution rocks falling sign.
Yes. And you're just like, well, what am I supposed to do? And they're like, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I don't know, but I gave you a sign, so figure it out.
I told you what to do and you didn't do it. And you're like, but you didn't really tell me what to do. That didn't mean anything. Yeah, well, you should have known.
Said that it could happen and I'm in a tin can. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, well, you should have known and you shouldn't have been there when you shouldn't have been there.
Right.
But you were. And so that's your problem.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oof. Anyway. Okay. Anyways, mutable earth night. I think the thing that gets me, okay, fine. Mutable earth. You're right.
Kind of cool.
It's okay. I don't know. It's like quicksand, mudslides. Like, what are we talking about?
Quicksand.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a real problem for us in our childhood. Not so much.
Well, we thought it was going to be.
I really thought it was going to be more important than it turned out to be.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Lava as well.
Everything was lava or quicksand.
Nothing's actually lava or, well, some things are, but only the things that are. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Night energy, though. This is where I get a little iffy. Not iffy. This is what it is. But where my brain is kind of like having a hard time fitting that in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what I associate that with is the moon. And
yes.
Then I think, yes. I think of like, I don't know. I feel like it brings like a softness to it.
Yeah, that'd be something. Soft, yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, okay. So,
What
yeah,
else?
I don't know. When is Virgo season? Obviously, we know it is after Leo.
Yeah,
So
roughly the 23rd of August to the 22nd of September, depending on the year.
Yeah, and so that's obviously late summer.
Yeah.
I feel like as usual, these energies kind of follow the season too.
Yeah,
It's like
they do.
late summer. It's like it's been hot for a long time. Maybe
Yeah.
you're kind of tired.
That's true.
You know, you're kind of tired of it. And
Yeah.
yet it's still persisting. And so you're kind of like, whew, have to deal with it.
Yeah.
There's also the like back to school aspect that we sort of mentioned.
Yeah.
And it really is a very dramatic shift from Leo energy to Virgo energy.
It is. It's one of the ones where there is that dramatic shift. Sometimes, you know, the changing over is not. It sort of just slides into the next sign and the next season and you're good. This one really is an abrupt kind of stop-start for me.
I agree. And I think sometimes even that change can be quite welcome in other instances where you're kind of like, you know, tired of the one and ready for the next.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't feel like that's really the vibe here.
It isn't. I mean, other than like the literal reasons, right? Like, I am hot. I want it to be fall. Like, other than that. But it, like you said, like, and for us, especially in California, like, that doesn't actually literally mean that. It just gets hotter. So, doesn't mean that. But
that is true.
It still has, okay, there's that change in the air. Like, some people are going to think that sounds crazy, but some people are going to be like, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Even though the weather, like, physically hasn't changed or whatever, there's a change in the energy. It's not the summer warmth. It's not the sort of pool, beach, lazy days of summer warmth in the air. There's this tinge of responsibility is coming. Like, you need to, you know, like, I don't know. It's just a different vibe. It's a totally different vibe.
Okay, so yes, agreed. Let's get into some of the descriptor words for Virgo energy. Okay, so we have literal, service-oriented.
Okay.
We have high standards.
Yes.
We have pure.
Okay. Ugh.
Honest.
That's interesting.
And negative.
And negative.
Yes.
Virgo, like, as a word, like, that's a word? Like, okay.
Like, Virgos can tend to become quite negative.
Yes, I would agree with that, yeah.
And I'm not even meaning that that's a flaw.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yes.
Because they're very analytical.
Yes.
And precise and detail-oriented. All of these words, I think, lead towards they can easily become very negative because we live in a world where things do not go according to plan.
That's very true.
And this is very frustrating for Virgos.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, of course you would be negative. And it's, like, not really their fault because, I mean, it is negative a lot.
I do not begrudge negativity towards the world. The world sucks. So there's that.
Yes.
And, you know,
true.
But so even though the word negative is negative, I don't mean it in a negative way necessarily.
You had no right to say that while I was drinking water.
I don't
You
know.
had zero
I don't
right.
know why you try to drink water when I'm talking.
Zero right to do that while I was drinking water, and I feel like you did it on purpose. Just gonna say.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, well, yeah, those are descriptors, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
What else do you have?
Along those same lines. Is that what you're
Sure.
looking for? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I have service oriented as well. I think you said that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like they genuinely want to help. I feel like there is a desire.
feel like we're like talking around something.
That's how a Virgo would do it.
So, I don't know. I think a Virgo would be very frustrated by the way we're talking about them.
Well, too bad. this is how we're doing it. I don't know how else to do it.
I know.
I listed things in a very Virgo fashion.
You did.
I listed, and I was very specific, and I was very detail-oriented about their symbology and where that comes from. There's a lot of interesting stuff with that.
Okay, talk about that. Yes,
okay.
Let's do it.
So it's interesting. It's one of the most interesting out of all the signs, I think.
Okay.
So it's the maiden or the virgin.
Right.
Which those are, just two different words, but they're basically saying the same thing. And the constellation that it's based on is this sort of like maiden goddess in the sky, but a winged goddess or a winged sort of maiden, like almost like angel-like. Which I think that's like very cool and very interesting.
Yes, and I think that's where that pure concept comes from that I was saying. They're purists, and I think it comes from that type of symbology.
Yeah, that's the symbolism of it.
Yeah.
And this angel, it's not really an angel, but this winged goddess maiden is holding a shaft of wheat.
Right.
So the ancient Greeks associated that with their goddess Demeter, and obviously the story of, which I'm not going to get into, but the story of Demeter and her daughter Persephone, and that tells the story of why we have like the fall and the spring equinox,
which is one of my favorite myths.
Same.
Yes.
I love it too. So I love that it's sort of tied to that. I think that symbology is really interesting because it involves so many things, and there's so many like aspects to it and different like stories tied to it. The other part I thought was interesting was for like the virgin and the maiden part. Virgin for the Greeks had nothing to do with like the sexuality or anything or anything like that. It meant one unto herself.
Yes, and I've heard this before too. Like, I know that. And I think that, just to take a slight detour and say, and I think I said this in a previous episode very briefly, but virginity as it is considered in society today is a construct of society.
Yeah.
Meaning that there is value placed on this concept of virginity, as in someone who is sexually pure. Even using the word pure, I feel like, it's so gross.
I know.
It is disproportionately applied to females and all of this stuff, So that's really not what is here.
No.
But I also think, and maybe this is part of why I'm realizing that maybe I just kind of tend to struggle with this, is that I have so much sort of anger towards these types of social constructs.
Totally.
That it makes me like view this sign through that, and I don't want to, because I don't like that concept of virginity. But I know that doesn't actually have anything to do with this.
No, it doesn't. I mean, in the pure sense, in the engendered sense of it, it doesn't. Over time, that's what's been ascribed to it, and
and I think that's the part that makes me go like about it. Not entirely, but I think that's part of the part that makes me do that.
I don't blame you for that. I think that would make a lot of people feel that way. I think especially if you were a Virgo. I mean, if I was one, and that was what they described, and I only knew it the way like the Latin explanation was, which is like the purity and in terms of sexuality and looking at it that way, I would have a problem with that for myself, because I'd be like, I don't identify with this, and this is supposed to be a symbol for me. Like, this is the lamest one. Like, some lady, like, weird.
Is such a good point, too. I feel like, okay, so now it's just like all turning around in my head, okay? I feel like all these ways of, like, describing a Virgo, but if you're a Virgo, if I were a Virgo, I wouldn't want to be described in that way and with that tone. By that tone, I mean the very tone that I was literally just using to describe them.
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? I'm supposed to be pure and perfect and detail-oriented all the time? Oh, I'm supposed to be like Little Miss Perfect organized all the time? Like, I would resent that. I would be really upset.
Totally.
And I am a pretty organized person, but if somebody expected me to be organized all the time, I'd be like, ew, go away.
Exactly. Yeah,
and I'm not even a Virgo.
It's like it becomes like a strange sort of thing you have to live up to. And it's like,
right.
I feel like they already put that pressure on themselves. So it's like an added layer of like, yes, you are like that. Like you're inclined to be that way. Also, that's because you're this virgin maiden goddess that's in charge of the entire harvest. And if you screw it up, then none of us get to eat and we're all going to starve and die. And also we're going to take your daughter and she's going to be in the underworld for half the year. Like none of this is nice. I don't like this. Can I please not have this?
So what I'm understanding right now is that Virgos have been dealt a heavy hand, and it's not their fault.
And it's not their fault. And it's very, very misogynistic and based on women's expectations. This has nothing to do with male Virgos.
Well, no, I think most of that gets put on the female Virgos, 100%.
Yeah.
Whether, especially if you're socialized female, this is exactly what gets put on you.
This is exactly, yes. And even down to like the pure like symbology of who you are, because like me as a Scorpio, it's a scorpion. Like,
well, yeah, right. And
I can't see myself in an intangible
but it's
way,
not a human thing.
A metaphorical way. Exactly. It's not a human thing.
Yes.
This is like, that's you. You better, that's
you got to be like her.
With wings and just perfect like an angel. What's that all about?
Yeah, okay, I'm developing a lot more empathy for the Virgo situation based on what you're talking about.
And if you look at the flip side of it, though, I think that you can reappropriate that for yourself because Demeter's awesome.
Oh, that is, like I said, it's one of my favorite myths, and not just because of the Persephone portion. The Demeter portion, too, and the mother-daughter dynamic that comes in, and, like, her strength in coming in and getting her daughter back, basically, and negotiating with literally the king or the god of the underworld.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how terrifying.
Exactly, and she's not, and she just, like, does it. And manages everything else with the changing of the seasons and everything else they put her in charge of. It's like, she's the mother, she's this, she's that, she's all of it, you know, and handles it like a boss. So that, I mean, if you can take that and throw the sort of virginal aspects out the window, which you should, I think that that's pretty cool.
Well, yeah. So I'm done now because that just blew my mind. And okay, this is like a reversal of what happened last episode.
Yeah, it is.
Because last episode I did that to you.
Yeah, you did it to me.
I was like, I don't have anything, and then I like dropped all this stuff. And you were saying that in the house. You're like, I just read these bullet points. I don't have anything for this. And I was like, yeah, me either. But I literally have nothing. And then you drop this amazing stuff.
I didn't know it was going to be amazing. Just like you said last week. You didn't know. I didn't either. I didn't know. I know. You had my jaw dropped last week. That was crazy. That was a ride.
This is crazy to me. This is blowing my mind. And I feel like there must be something uniquely Virgo about this. Because I did it, and then you did it.
I know. There must... Yeah, that's
And it's
true.
never happened in other episodes. I mean, you've said things that I've been like, oh, wow, that's really interesting, or oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But not like this.
No, that's very true. That's a really good point.
Yes.
Well, it's been building, because if you look back even further...
Well, I was also, sorry, I was going to say, I think it's the Mercury influence.
Oh, yeah, 100%, which we didn't touch on, but
yes. I'm about to.
Yeah,
it's the Mercury rules Virgo, and I think it's somewhat surprising, like we were saying in the previous episode, because you can see how Mercury and Gemini, like, kind of really reflect each other back and forth, and with Virgo being an earth sign and then being ruled by Mercury, which is so cerebral and about communicating, it's kind of like, how does this make sense? But I think this is somehow how it makes sense.
I agree. Yeah, I think so. I think this is the way, because with Gemini, the way that it's very, how do I put it? It's like, just very comfortable and very outward. And I don't want to say like, not reflective at all. I don't think that Gemini or not, but I do think there's a little more spontaneity with the way that they communicate, whereas with Virgo there is that reflection, and they do it a lot inside before it comes out.
Yeah.
But that's just as valid and they're just as
Yes.
comfortable. It's just done in a slightly different way. But like once it actually does come out, like it's honed and they know and it's on point. They have the receipts, they have the research, they know how to explain it. And I think that they're helpers. Like their nature is to be helpers. So they're good teachers like that. Like they will take it in and decide and know like how that needs to be disseminated, and they'll know exactly kind of how to do that.
Yeah, which obviously requires communication.
It does, and very
heavy
good communication.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It heavily relies on that. You know, I'm also thinking about, seriously, like how my mind has been blown and how, so for every sign I have like one of these nature images that comes with it. So just as a reminder, the prior Earth signs, Capricorn was a mountain peak and Taurus was a copious garden.
Yeah, that's right.
And Virgo is a multi-faceted crystal. And when I read it initially and wrote it down, I was like, whatever, what does this even mean? And now I'm just like,
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
Yeah, it really does.
It's like of the actual earth in its like polished, presentable, beautiful form. And if you turn it and look at it different ways, it looks different.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's very cool.
Yeah, so anyways, mind blown.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know. Okay, I want to make sure to cover some of the things that we cover like in every sign episode.
Yeah.
So the other thing is sort of the age
like
lifespan
the life
wheel.
cycle.
You know, so where we are, 6th sign, pretty much halfway through.
Sure.
We're getting to the late 30s, the 40th birthday, early 40s.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier too, in a more negative way than what I'm going to say right now. But turning 40 is a milestone.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the way that age is conceptualized is changing, which is good. Sure. But I think 40 used to be like, that's when you were over the hill.
Yeah, you're
right?
like, now you're done.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
and it was
Grandma.
like, oh, you know, you're 40 now and you're, you know, you can't be cute or fun or hot or sexy or fill in the blank. People lied about their age, didn't want to admit when they turned 40.
Exactly.
You know, and I'm talking about like mostly women, I feel like.
For sure, that's where the pressure is.
Yes. So it makes sense. You know, Virgo is kind of in this time period where, you know, maybe there is some negativity towards it. Like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I don't really want to be there. But the fact is you are there. If you're there, you're there.
Right.
And you have gained wisdom.
Yes.
And you are more unto yourself.
Totally. Which is a beautiful thing.
Which is a beautiful thing. So.
And also kind of piggybacks off what we just talked about with the last point. Like, imagine if, you know, the negative way of looking at their symbology, which is coloring the way you think about the sign, add on top of that layer of that being the life cycle, and basically saying like, you're just an old maid virgin spinster woman who has to just take care of everything around the house and the harvest and everything else, but also you don't get to be cute or have fun or be sexy or anything like that because that's all over. Oh, great. I love this.
Exactly.
Like
it's
wonderful.
So insulting.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think there's a lot kind of working against Virgos.
I know.
In a lot of this.
And they're like, no.
They're like, I'm just trying to be good. I'm just trying to do good. I'm trying to figure everything out. I'm trying to get everything done. I'm trying to take care of everything.
Yeah, they're like, I'm being mutable. I'm an earth sign and I'm being mutable. They're like, Taurus doesn't do that. Which they're right. They don't. They're like, Capricorns don't do that. I do it.
I know.
And we're like, yeah, just be quiet.
Nobody notices.
Yeah, just you know, have your wings and just.
They want to be noticed. I think that, oh my gosh.
That's probably a large part of it.
I think so too.
And they deserve to be because they're great. And like a lot of Virgos that I know, thinking about it in my own personal life, are funny. They're funny. They're funny. They make me laugh a lot. Like that person who like you don't know well, but like you interact with them in some way, shape, or form, and they make some kind of like sarcastic comment or some dry joke, like kind of under their breath or something, like, that's very Virgo energy. That turns out to be a Virgo a lot of times, where I'm just, like, cracking up at them.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that is Earth throughout, you know, kind of that quick wit, kind of like low kind of humor. But I get what you're saying specifically about the Virgo version of that.
Yeah.
And I think it's often very surprising because they can be the type of person that you don't expect that from.
Yeah.
And then when they deliver it, you're like, oh.
Yeah, because you have the expectation that they're going to be kind of buttoned up and sort of rigid and everything.
Or maybe they actually are. Yeah. Maybe they appear that way.
Yeah,
but then they have these other little threads that they, you know, will pop out at you.
And because of that Mercury influence, they're super playful. Mm-hmm. And they have that sense of anybody with that much of a Mercury influence, like, they're going to be funny and good storytellers. And they have that it's so natural to them. And I feel like they know timing and delivery really well because the communication is so strong with them, and they know how certain people are going to react. They also have, like, these great memories. Like, they'll remember every detail of something. So their callback jokes are like gold because they'll remember the thing that you said, and you're, oh my gosh, it's so funny because you're like, that's right, that happened.
Yes, like, and it's true, and they'll remember down to the exacting detail of, like, oh, no, you said this, and then I said that, and then you said that, and then that's why it was so funny. And you're like, oh my God, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like everything else that I wrote down, like, not that it's not valid or true even. I really just don't want to say it anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say it anymore. I don't want to say anything else.
Yeah. I get it, because I feel like a lot of it has been said. I feel like Virgo is one of those signs where it
does have a bad reputation, I will say. Mm-hmm. Not as bad as some of the other ones like we've talked about, but it does. It kind of has this sense of, like, oh, they're a Virgo, you know, like,
they're going to tell me what to do.
Better be on your best behavior, you know, that kind
Watch
of energy.
What you say. Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
Which, I do want to mention some celebrities, and upon reflection even more based on this conversation, I just feel like they make even more sense, one in particular. Okay, so I'm going to say the big one, the most obvious one, I think that most people know, is Beyonce.
Yeah, she's like the queen of the Virgos.
Yes, and I think, you know, even in things where she has been interviewed and said, not being interviewed about being a Virgo, but saying that, yes, she is talented, but she says, it's because I work hard. I work hard all the time, every day. I don't stop. Yep. Like, she attributes her own success to her dedication, to her high standards, to her perseverance in achieving the highest standard that she pushes herself to, you know, and obviously surrounds herself with people who are also doing that and striving to do that. So absolutely. I just feel like that one, you know, is a really clear example. Yes. Another one is Prince Harry.
Oh, interesting.
Which I found interesting. Okay, I am not like an Anglophile. Okay, I'm not like all about the royal family. Like, I haven't read the book or whatever.
No.
But you know who he is, right? Yeah. And we talked about Meghan Markle in a previous episode.
That's right.
When it was her birthday time. And I just feel like the two of them obviously create something really dynamic between them.
They really do.
And I think that he does bring this sophistication, which you could attribute to, oh, he's part of the royal family and it's British and all of that, which, okay, is also true. But I feel like there's some of this there as well.
I do too.
And that, you know, interestingly, he's also been willing to be very outward with some shocking, you know, decisions and things.
Absolutely.
So it's not this pure, you know, virginal, so to speak, like, you know, rule follower.
Very, very thoughtful, and he has thought through. Obviously, we're all on our own journeys and come to things at different times, but he has processed a lot of the trauma that he has faced as a child in ways that other people around this situation have not done, will not do.
That seems quite clear.
Yeah, he very much embodies that, like, Virgo, that hermit energy of, like, taking that in, processing it, doing the work, the hard work, and then being open and like, well, because I've done it, this is a helpful thing to share because it might be able to help other people to understand what we're going through, but also maybe what they have experienced and relate to it. And I think that he does it in that kind of humanitarian way.
I totally agree. I love that analysis of it. Very Virgo.
Very Virgo with me.
The last person, and this is the one where I feel like the discussion from today, because I wrote this person down because I love them, but I was still like, what? But now, after today's discussion, it's Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Gone too soon. R.I.P. Tragic loss. I really, really love her. And I feel like initially I did not see the Virgo-ness about her. And now I absolutely do.
Oh, I totally do.
And how painful I think some of that was 100%. For her.
Yep.
And, I mean, there's no doubt about it that she was very driven and, like, paid attention to detail, had these high standards for her
sure.
art. But, you know, as a person, I think she struggled a lot with her sort of role and identity as a woman. Yeah. I think she struggled with men having power over her in her life. Yeah. And lots of things like that. So.
Yeah, that's a really good example. And just the other underrated aspect that is brought up by the people that you mentioned is the creativity. They're so
True.
Virgos are so creative. It's that Mercury influence, but it's just a lot. Like, it's just the way that they gather information, process information.
Yes.
They're very creative thinkers. They tend to be really expressive. Like, kind of similar to Gemini, but in a different way. I think, like, a lot more honed into, like, this is what I like. And their aesthetic, their fashion, everything like that. Like, they're very obviously who exactly they are and want to be.
And that's, I think the word is exact. It's much more exact.
Yes.
And that is a very Virgo quality.
Yeah, it's like edited to a T. They know exactly how they want it to look and be presented and sort of, you know. But there's an inherent artistic quality and a creativity to that.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. So, okay. I don't have anything else to say about Virgos. And I never, ever will speak badly about Virgos again. I swear.
Oh, I'm sure they appreciate that. They're probably like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, we're just running around with this checklist, like, trying to live up to it all the time, and all people want to do is just be like,
I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry.
I feel so bad. Jackie's Virgo mea culpa episode.
What do you say we do a spell of the week?
Oh, babe, but you're skipping over an important thing.
Which is what?
I have to say what social media they are.
Oh, shit, I forgot.
Yes.
How awful.
It's our last one.
It really was me forgetting.
It's okay.
That was pure forgetfulness.
It's totally fine.
Maybe I also just don't want it to end.
It's okay.
Okay, fine, do it.
This is going to prolong it. So, see, now it's not going to end. So, Virgo.
Okay.
This took a lot of thought. This was, like, some of them came to me easy. Others, I was like, This took a lot of thought. But once I hit it, I was like, Ashley, you're a genius. Hopefully you'll think the same.
Okay.
Virgo is Pinterest.
Oh. Yeah.
The other so I'm going to tell you why. The other cool thing that I discovered and was, like, very proud of myself is I was thinking about the what do you call it? Like, the symbol of the sign, the glyph of the sign.
Yes.
So it kind of has, like, that M shape, and then it has, like, the loop that turns.
Tail.
Yeah, and it turns back on itself. It, like, loops.
Yes.
And there's all kinds of, like, ideas of, like, why, but nobody really knows. But anyways, it turns like this. And that's what the Pinterest P looks like.
You're right.
It has that, like, that little loop that's on, like, the inside. And I was like, oh, it even looks like it.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious, but... Explain a little bit about what...
If you don't know what Pinterest is, which would be surprising, but maybe you don't. Basically what Pinterest is it's a visual search tool. It's like a search engine kind of, but with pictures. And what you can do with those is you can make your own personal kind of catalog of those pictures. And it's meant to be things that inspire you, ideas, inspiration, things that you like and you sort of want to cultivate. And you organize these images into categories that are called boards, and then each individual one is called a pin. So you're basically like virtually pinning things to a board. So, I mean, how Virgo is that? The creativity, the organization, putting things into categories exactly the way they want it. Yeah. Yes, their aesthetic. It is very kind of fashion focused, which I think they would also really love.
But I think it's just inspo for a lot of stuff.
Wedding
parties,
wedding stuff,
classroom.
Huge. Yeah, like if you are planning an event, which I do not know a Virgo who doesn't like to plan an event. I will just put that out there. That is true. They love it. If you're planning an event and you don't have a Pinterest board that you're working on or sharing, because there's a social aspect to it, social media. If you don't have that, I don't know what you're doing. Like, your event's not going to be good. And if you're working with the Virgo, they'll make you do one or share it with them, or they'll already have started one for you and, like, have a bunch of stuff on it.
Yeah, it's probably true.
So, yeah, that's it.
Well, I am very sorry now to you. I'm apologizing. Now, this is twice in one episode that I'm apologizing for something. I don't know when was the last time I apologized for anything ever. But, I'm sorry that I almost skipped that over. Because it's very good.
It's good, right?
And I love all of them.
Yeah, I love them too.
And I am sad that it's our last one.
I know. Go back and watch the other ones. They're good.
They are. They're good. Now. Spell of the week. Okay. Mm-hmm. I feel like you're talking a lot in this final portion.
It's okay.
Okay. I mean, I don't mind, but I'm just saying, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Again. Third time.
Handle it. I can do it. Okay. You need a spell of the week. I can't leave them hanging.
No, I need one too. So,
like, pulling in that Virgo energy, I will give it to you. I will provide it for you. You will
even
have
if it's a hardship.
I'll still do it.
Okay. All right. What is it?
Okay. So this spell of the week, I don't really have a title, but I sort of thought it's like a get grounded, like get into that Virgo, get grounded energy. Okay. So, but what we also need to do is we need to get grounded and we need to get a little analytical, which is also very Virgo.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna think deeply and we're gonna tap into our deepest feelings about what's going on, how we're feeling in this moment. Maybe it would be good to do during the full moon or like a little before or a little after because the energy lingers, so it doesn't have to be right on there. But that would be a good time because you have that Pisces energy sort of coming in to help you with this.
Yeah.
What I want you then to do is to pick one organization task that you want to tackle.
Okay.
It's not sexy. This spell is not meant to be that, okay? It's not meant to be that. But perhaps it's the contacts in your phone. Perhaps it's a drawer that you've been leaving and neglecting. It might even just be like the pencil cup on the top of your desk.
Yeah, like your vanity, your medicine cabinet, your vegetable drawer.
Anything you want. It could be big. If you have the energy and you want it to be, we're not stopping you. Go ahead. But it can be also very small. Just depends on, how you're feeling, what you want to do. And it's this energy right now, if you're doing it right now, it's really going to help you out because it's going to help you hone down on those little details, and that's what we want here. Mm-hmm. It's not really a big picture spell. It really is like a specific little kind of detail spell. So you could, kind of similar to your spell from last week, you could set intentions. You could say them. You could open up a circle. Mm-hmm. You could light a candle. You can do whatever you want if you really want to make it kind of ritualistic. If you feel like that's going to help you, you can. You do not have to, though, because just the act of doing this is magical in and of itself. It is a spell.
I love that.
I kind of do, depending on what the task is, kind of like to at least sort of set the intention and just acknowledge for myself what I'm doing so that I don't know, it just gives me a sense of like purpose and acknowledging. I think it's important to acknowledge, and maybe this is kind of going back to our discussion too, like acknowledging when you're putting in that hard work, and even if other people aren't recognizing it, you can do it for yourself, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
And so when you've completed the task, I think it's a good idea to kind of anoint the space or the item or whatever it is. And you can do that even just with words or music, or you could do, do some smoke cleansing, or you could do incense or whatever you want to do. But again, you don't have to. Just the act of actually doing this little organization project is the spell.
I love that. I couldn't love it more, honestly.
Yeah.
And truly, I mean, I'm going to wrap up this episode, and I'm going to say the thing that I always say, but I really do mean it this time.
Yeah.
I feel like I love everybody in all signs.
Yeah.
Or at least we don't not love you because of your sign.
Dumb Witch Club is written and produced by us, Ashley Sidner
and Jackie Gerard at the Dumb Witch Clubhouse in Orange County, California.
Produced and edited by Matt Heinemeyer, creative director and culture consultant Violet Turner.
Original music by Ashley Sidner. And look us up on all your favorite social media platforms, including Patreon.
Until next time, stay witchy, friends.
And stay dumb.